Hey everybody, so today we're going to be looking at the Battle of Antietam, bloodiest day of the Civil War. So George B. McClellan, who's not this guy, was ready to take Richmond, Virginia. He was going to try. So he's the Union commander. He's going to try to take the Confederate capital of Richmond. This became a war over capitals. Who could win and take the other person's capital? Could the Union take Richmond, or could the Confederates take Washington, D.C.? He is stopped by Robert E. Lee. Robert E. Lee has just taken over command of the Army of Virginia, which is the main Confederate army. He, over 7 days, which we call the 7 Days Battles, it was a collection of smaller battles over a full week, Lee had way fewer men and almost no supplies than did McClellan, and McClellan got whipped over and over and over again, and he finally had to retreat. This leads to Lincoln pushing McClellan to fight. So this is a really cool image. So here's George B. McClellan. Here's Lincoln. They're meeting in the tent, discussing battle strategy. This was obviously taken originally in color, and in black and white. It was colorized later on. Before the next battle, McClellan gets a huge break. One of his men finds a bunch of cigars wrapped in a piece of paper. And the Robert E. Lee's battle plans. Some guy dropped the battle plans. McClellan picks it up and he says, "If I can't beat Bobby Lee now, I never will." And he was right. So McClellan finds these. He has a huge advantage. So one, he knows that Lee does not have Stonewall Jackson with him, that they've actually split up. So Lee is at a huge disadvantage. He only has about 40,000 men. McClellan says, "I have 87,000 men. I have twice as many, and I have his battle plans. I should easily be able to beat him." So the Battle of Antietam is actually the bloodiest day of the war. Gettysburg had more casualties, but it was a 3-day battle. Antietam is only 1 day. In this one battle, there were more casualties than in the War of 1812 and the Mexican-American War put together. So this battle takes place near Antietam Creek, and remember the North names things after physical features, so we typically call it Antietam. If you were a Confederate, you would have called it the Battle of Sharpsburg. The Hagerstown Turnpike, you can drive right down that now. It's in Maryland. So there's actually a 3-part battle. There's a part called, it's in the field, the cornfield near the Dunker Church. Dunkers were a type of German Baptists, literally like dunking people. Then there was another part called the Sunken Road, which becomes nicknamed the Bloody Lane. And then there was Burnside's Bridge down at the bottom. So it actually starts up here and then moves down. And if you look at this, it's basically a draw. Now, it was remarkably bloody, but it's basically a draw. But the Confederates realized they had so fewer people, they had to leave. So they retreat, but McClellan does not chase them. He doesn't chase them because he's cautious, and Robert E. Lee is not cautious. He's pretty bold. McClellan stops. Because he stops and doesn't chase him, Lincoln fires him, basically, and says, "If you're not going to use the army, I would like to borrow it," which is a great insult. The battle, though, does 2 things. One, it allows Abraham Lincoln to issue the Emancipation Proclamation, which we will look at tomorrow. It also brings the war to the average person. Matthew Brady had a photography gallery in New York City, and one of his student's name was Alexander Gardner. Gardner takes a bunch of photographs after the Battle of Antietam, and they're published in New York City, and thousands of people see them. People finally see how horrendous this war is. And it brings it home to the average person. One newspaper said it was as if Matthew Brady dropped a body in the middle of Manhattan. So what I'd like you to do, I know this is a short video, I'm going to put below a video on the Battle of Antietam and a link to the photographs. And I would like you to look through them and see why they had such an impact on everyone else. All right? Have a great day.